Well, good evening, Sigma Race fans. It's been a while. A lot's happened within the last several weeks. And so we're going to go ahead and get you set up here with a re-air of the race from July 7th. This one we always run July 7th every year, the 777 annual, very prestigious Sigma race event every year that we come here. And 777 kilometers the distance. We were not going to hold, we weren't going to miss it. Weren't going to miss it for anything. And so here we are with your starting lineup here tonight from the race from July 7th. Starting on the front row, you have both the Biffle tribute cars starting front and center. Monty Shangle in the 16 with Taden Bergeron alongside of him. Then it is Bradley Ream and Kara Shangle. Next row back, it is Chris Harvey and James Fireball Robert, followed by Cooper Dwight and freshly a new father, Jacob Shangle on the outside row there in the number 60, paying honors to Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch, and his grandpa. Next row back, you have Wyatt Wilkinson and Tom Cording. Behind that, it is Shy Turtle and Chaz Chadwick. Then it is 68 of Finlay Herwig and the 77 of Preston Kundo. Tyler Aspinall with the number 5 of Rowdy Campbell. Brain's screwing me over here a little bit. It's been a while. It's rusty. I forget a name here once in a while, and I shouldn't have forgot his name because that is the number 5 of Campbell Marsh. So, my bad. We keep rolling through the lineup here. Jimmy Logano and Tasha Wright, followed by the number 7 of Tyler Shangle and the 69 of Lynn Farrell, 29 of Lewis Trost and the 24 of Snake Plissken. Cannon Gage with number 9 there of Braden Varga, Al Bunch and Carson Bowers, 94 of Eli the Wolf with Alex Crowther, Ewan Wood Army and John Hagan, Chad Hertenstein and Kevin Xavier, Tyler Landa and Kellen Relic. It's actually his birthday today on July 30th. Then you have Luis Rodriguez and Liz Shangle, Brian DeBlanc and Sebastian Torres. In his last race here in the Sigma Cup Series, he has departed, and that number 64 is going to have a new driver when we come back in the next race. Then is Rich Roy and Lucas Holmes, Brandon Butler the second, and Trevor Vaden with Tristan Reams and Trevor Walker. Pretty good that I only forgot one name here tonight from about a month-long break here with everyone. So 322 laps the distance for these drivers here tonight as we get set for a replay of the 777 annual. As you can see already, the ticker is not going to be as normal. We are basically running this back like a true replay. And so there is no designed program in NASCAR Racing 2003 that actually builds a ticker. So you'll notice the broadcast will be a little different here tonight, trying out some things. But, alas, we will go old school, kind of like back in the 80s, maybe even the 70s when NASCAR really came around and you didn't have a ticker. You just kind of had to watch the race and build it up yourself. So here we go, rolling for the 777 annual from Las Vegas. Monty Shangle with that pole position, and your points leader right alongside of him, Taden Bergeron. Wasting no time, driving away with the early lead here, Monty Shangle in that number 16 Monty Shangle Motorsports Greg Biffle livery there. Yeah, it's been a fun break here, folks. I know that it's been a while since you've heard my voice. There's been a lot of extracurricular drama in the NASCAR Racing 2003 community. And I know Stunod has been back and forth, up and down, all around. There was a cease and desist order handed out to the reverse-engineered NASCAR Racing 2003 group. So there's really been a lot of chaos lately. And the only good thing about that is right now NR2003 is relevant. It has maintained its relevance over the years, but all of a sudden we've got a lot more people with their eyes on the community than normal. So With the early lap count here tonight, lap 3, Monty Shingles led all 3 laps so far. I wonder if I can do this. I think I can maybe make this. Hold on. Let me do something here a little bit clever. We'll pause the race. There's nothing that's going to get ahead of us here. So, like we have our lap times there. This could be crucial for, obviously it's the camera's focused on this driver right now. So if I copy the properties of that, add a new property, add a video source, screen capture, display capture. So this is where you're just watching right now as I'm doing some fun OBS fun stuff here that'll make it so that we can keep an eye on what lap it truly is. Kind of a little different, obviously. We had to make some adjustments here tonight without a true ticker. I can try to keep the other dealy-me-bob up so that we know where everyone's running, but there we have it. Alrighty, we're back and rolling here now. I'll try to catch up on the server side of things. It's still a little hard for me to stay on top of everything right now with all the new life changes. But trust me, we will make sure that the silly season is addressed eventually. It's going to take some time. As you can see right now, moving up to second, that is Bradley Ream in the 78, making that move on by the 19 of Chris Harvey here. You can even see the lap times, the fastest lap set by each driver as we move from one to the other. There is a channel for the burnout celebration if you want to include a song. That's once you get to the cup side of things. We don't really do that in Bridge to Cup. So yes, this is a race, very prestigious in all of its years. Every year we've went to this racetrack since 2010. Historically has been a big race in the Sigma racing universe. And so we have our first caution here tonight. And as we find who's involved in this first wreck, let's go ahead and figure out where the carnage starts here for wreck number 1 on lap number 7. As you can see, here is our first caution of the day. 21 of Chad Hertenstein gets into the 12 of Carson Bowers. This sends Kevin Xavier for a wild tumble. Kellen Relic hits the wall. Kevin Xavier flies through the air. And also involved, you had the 15 of Reams, the 50 of Liz Shangle. Oh man, and that 14 still tumbling. Well, I'll go back a lap here and see just how many times the 14 tumbles. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, At least a 17-time flip there tonight for Mr. Xavier. Tough break for him. Yeah, that really all started with the 12 and the 21 getting into each other here. It was all downhill after that. 14 with nowhere to go. Man, that's just a wild way to get hit, and it sends him tumbling through the air. See one extra angle on that here. And so the fun part with the way that we have it set up here, we'll get right back into the green flag action without a delay, as this is a tape delayed race. So hold tight as we skip forward in our progress to get back to the live racing action. Just kind of do a recap on who gets where after the pit stops. Okay, so once everyone made their pit stops, we get back to the racing action here. Lap 11. Monty Shangle still at the lead. Bradley Ream front row alongside of him. Chris Harvey, Jimmy Logano, Cooper Dwight, and Eli the Wolf. That's your top 6. Yeah, that 2025 Coke 600 wreck is by far the largest wreck in Sigma Cup history. So had to pick probably the most notable wreck in history through Sigma Cup as a kind of a caution screen. I thought it was fitting. But yeah, the 777 Annual has been hosted 16 races so far. This year marked the 17th year of running it on July 7th. And some big names, some prior champions in our series have won this race. Sometimes, you know, it's notable for championship drivers to win this race. So right now, Chris Harvey with the race lead over Cooper Dwight. You'll notice some slight netcode glitching. That's to be expected as I was running this off of my gaming laptop at the hospital. And it was baking. It was like cooking a little hard, a little too hot, and I'm sure lucky that it actually was able to run the game without truly frying it. So I had kind of a lucky break. Everything worked out perfectly to get this race in on July 7th. There you have Cooper Dwight now trying to fight for the lead. But back on the topic of the history of this race, Kellen Relic, the inaugural winner back in 2010. That was before it turned into a 777-kilometer race. Well, it took 3 weeks because of the life changes with me becoming a new father. So this is a race that's been long overdue to get broadcasted, and it's going to kind of kick off the summer-long break that we had. Kind of puts this race out there, and then we'll still have to wait a while before the next broadcasts come to you, as I got a lot of family time, a lot of things that are going to come first and foremost. But this race, 3 weeks late, obviously had some big changes, so we are making it happen here today to get this race on YouTube. And it's kind of interesting having, to do a replay race like this. Usually we do them live, and that allows us to run the ticker up above. So one caution so far through the first 18 laps of this race. Monty led some laps there. Now he's fallen backwards. New leader, 41 of Cooper Dwight, after Chris Harvey in the 19 led some laps there in that Kyle Busch tribute scheme. This race has only been won by the pole setter once in history. Tyler Shangle did it in 2012, winning from pole position. No one else has ever won from pole position here in the 777 Annual. Monty Shangle, though, has a previous win at this race, even though he started pole position here tonight. The odds are stacked up against him. Winning from pole is very hard to do here in Las Vegas. But Monty is a one-time winner here and would be looking to go twofer to get his second one. Tyler Shangle, of course, in 2012, and Justin Roman did it in 2013. We have a battle for the race lead. That is Tom Cording on the inside of Cooper Dwight. 19 coming back to with a vengeance. You have the 68 of Finlay Herwig and even the 90 of Tasha Wright in the mix here in that Carmel M&M's Kyle Busch tribute scheme. Quick check at the running order at the back of the field, looking at your ticker on the top right corner there. We do have 3 retirements, count that, 3. 42nd, 43rd, and 44th place. Chad Hertenstein out in 42nd, Kevin Xavier out in 43rd, and Liz Shangle out in 44th. You have a couple of lap cars here ahead of your leader. And obviously, we can't really do anything because this was a replay. So I don't remember if I DQ'd these drivers. They probably do get disqualified. I just don't remember at the moment. Very instantly at this second. So they're going to have to work their way around, dealing with the lap traffic here. 17 ends up holding that high side hostage here. 68 of Finlay Herwig dropping backwards. Oofty, and that is throwing a 3-wide scenario there with Snake Plissken in the middle, and oh, there's a wreck. We've got our second wreck of the day. This time another tumbler. Man, they are tumbling in Vegas here tonight. So, another caution here, just a brief pause. Actually, we don't have to because it happened right there in front of us. So let us see who and how this got to where it was. Lap traffic was obviously the cause here. You see the 68 goes 3 wide here, sticks it on the middle between Eli the Wolf and Trevor Vaden. That was lap traffic in the way. Monty Shangle gets stuck way up high and gets slammed into the wall here. The 1 of What Army, the 12 of Bowers. And there goes Trevor Vaden for a flip. Second car to flip here in the 777 Annual. And then you have Campbell Marsh just trying to evasive maneuvers to try and steer clear of the drama ahead. Gets run into by Braden Varga. Comes back up off the grass and survives. Minimal damage there. Pretty normal wreck avoidance with the NR2003 series drivers here. Let's see one more camera angle here with Trevor Vaden. Tough break, man. Go for a flip. Monty pole setter unlucky with his roll of the dice here in Vegas tonight from pole position with a crumpled front nose and bringing out the second caution here tonight. So we will go ahead and jump forward in our race progress again here tonight. Caution and pit stops as we get ready for the restart here on lap 28. Alrighty, so your front row yet again on the restart here is the 41 of Cooper Dwight, now with the 33 of Shy Turtle. Tayden Berggren, Tasha Wright, Bradley Ream, and the number 8 there of Cannon Gage. Cooper Dwight doing a good job here in the Crown Jewel event, the 777 annual. Points leader, the 43 there of Taden Bergeron, sneaking down low here on the 41. Making a run here with a good push from the 78 of Bradley Ream and the 30 of Tom Cording. As they complete lap 29 on to lap 30 here. A lot of side-by-side racing on the restart here in Vegas. You just gotta love the racing action here from Vegas, as there's so much, room to move around. A lot that can happen. We just see some good side-by-side racing from green flag to checkered every time we come here. So Cooper Dwight leads some laps in the Crown Jewel event here. And so going back to some more history on this race in particular. 2014 started a stretch where we had real-life racers winning this event pretty much every year for a good stretch. 2014, it belonged to Casey Kane. 2014 was also the year that Tyler Shangle won the championship, so just 2 years after his 777 annual, he wins this race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won this race in 2015. Taylor Malson might not be as familiar of a NASCAR name, but he did make his way up to the Xfinity Series and made some races. And I will interrupt this history lesson as we got a battle for the race lead here with James Fireball Robert of Cording Brothers Motorsports looking on the inside here, the 41 of Cooper Dwight. Holds off the charge for now, but that battle not over. That 95 is showing some muscle right now. Taden Bergeron falls back to 4th. Tyler Shangle up into the top 5, as we just mentioned his name. The only guy to win pole position at this race. You got Preston Kundo making a charge on the inside here, going for 2nd. Most notably, the 2017 777 annual champion was a hometown hero to Las Vegas. We had Kyle Busch, and it was historically the furthest back someone has come to win the 777 annual. He did it in 2017 after starting in 33rd. So talk about kind of a neat place to pay tribute to Kyle Busch this year, as this is considered the Rowdy Memorial 777 annual here in 2026. But we do have him in the history book of Sigma Cup Series as a race winner at his home track in one of the most prestigious Sigma Cup races on the calendar. We'll hop back to our history lesson. Let us do through the field here, as we've made it to lap 37 of 322. Some lap traffic in the way again, the 67 of Alex Crowther. We'll wait a minute to do through the field here. Want to see what comes of the 67. Gonna hold up the 43 of Taden Bergeron here. He falls in line right behind. Crowther holding up the outside. Yikes. And then the 8 of Cannon Gage, the 55, Luis Rodriguez, having to deal with the slower traffic here. There goes Jacob Shangle through the mess. Looks like they're almost going to make their way around him here. I do feel like I end up throwing the DQ flag here next time once he gets through all the traffic. Still surviving some of these cars with significant damage at the back end of the field here. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact. The 22 of Trevor Walker with the 67 of Alex Crowther. Monty Shangle, 33rd. Yeah, so only 36 cars left, and well, we missed it, but swap for the lead as James Fireball Robert gets by the 41 of Cooper Dwight. Let's go back just 2 laps there. In fast forward mode, watch as James Fireball Robert gets up alongside the 41 side by side through turn 3, and on the exit of turn 4, 41 fights back. But the advantage is that inside line as the Skittles car takes the lead on lap 40. And starting to drive away with it here a little bit too. Now moving into second is the 77 of Preston Kundo. James Fireball Robert, Preston Kundo, and 3 wide for third place as Bradley Ream looking to try and move his way into a better position here. 78 is winless this year, highest up in the points with no wins. So keep your eyes out on the 78 of Bradley Ream. He is raring and ready to get that race win here in 2026 and try to establish himself as a perennial contender for a potential shot at the championship. And the good thing about doing a replay race like this, we have nothing to worry about with the game crashing. Since this was already run, we're golden. This is probably the best way to guarantee that the race gets in here completely, because yeah, we saved the replay and we're watching the replay over again. So now would be a good time through the field as we took a bit of a detour there. James Fireball Robert, your race leader here on lap 43. Next in line, it's Preston Kundo. Third place, it is Lynn Farrell. Fourth place, Bradley Ream. Fifth belongs to Cooper Dwight, who led for a while there. Tom Cording and Taden Berggren round out your top 7, with Wyatt Wilkinson, Tyler Shangle, and Shy Turtle rounding out the top 10. And it is Tasha Wright, followed by Jacob Shangle. Lewis Trost falling backwards here to 13th. Kara Shangle up to 14th. 15th, it is Jimmy Logano, freshly victor within the last month. John Hagan and Finlay Herwig, followed by Chaz Chadwick and his teammate right behind him, 19 of Chris Harvey. Then it is the Rowdy, Cannon Gage in the number 8, Kyle Busch tribute car there. Campbell Marsh, Luis Rodriguez, all 3 of them in Kyle Busch tribute schemes here. Then it is Al Bunch alongside the always hard-charging Brandon Butler II. He qualified about 40th here tonight. He's already picked up about half the pieces, up to 22nd there. 23rd or 24th maybe. Yeah, Snake Plissken in 25th. As Al Bunch is right there ahead of him, the team owner. Brian DeBlanc running in 26th. Tyler Aspinall in 27th. 28th belongs to Lucas Holmes. 29th, it is Sebastian Torres. 38th is Eli the Wolf. Rich Roy, Trevor Walker, Monty Shangle, Kellen Relic, and Tyler Landa, your top 35. Alex Crowther at risk of going another lap down here tonight. And it's only lap 44 after the damage from that first caution here tonight. Another new race leader, Preston Kundo, gets by the 95 of James Fireball Robert. So we continue to get very sturdy battles for the race lead here. Leader tries to go under the 67, forces him up high, and the 95 pays the ultimate price here. James Fireball Robert gets stuck on the high side with the 67 of Crowther. And so as you're seeing right now, race control was kind of sleeping. Did not have normal home base communications going down. So the laptop, I think we just tried to make do with what we had and made some mistakes on race officiating over this night on July 7th. But nonetheless, it seems like even though it kind of shakes it up a little bit, they're not having to deal with too much drama in the lap traffic department. Tasha now moves up to 6th with Jacob Schengle right behind her. Tyler Schengle running in 5th. Tayden Berggren in 4th. And it's Cooper Dwight, Lynn Farrell, and Preston Kundo. So the other retirements in this race up to this point. The number 9 of Braden Varga got knocked out from that caution. Carson Bowers in the 12. Ewan Wodarmy in the 1. Tristan Reams in the 15. Trevor Vaden, who flipped the car over 41st. And then, of course, your 3 at the very bottom there from that first wreck here tonight. So 2 big wrecks. Yeah, pretty big because it took out about, on average, about 4 cars per wreck there. Currently, through this many laps, fastest lap belongs to the 43 of Tayden Berggren at a blistering 27.236 around the track. Second quickest to that was Lynn Farrell with a 2:39, and Bradley Ream with a 2:68. Laps are clipping by pretty quickly here in the 777 annual as we're already at the lap 53. So continuing on our history trend, the next set of races came 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Local E-Freighter racer Andrew Razy won here in 2018, one of his few wins in the Sigma Racing Series. 2019 marked the first time we had a driver win here twice in the big event. Tyler Schengle did it, the first ever 2-time winner in the 777 annual. Only difference is he did not do it from the pole the second time around in 2019. COVID 2020, we all remember that. Most of us were not maybe following along with Sigma Racing World. Scott Dixon really made the most of it during the COVID shutdowns, coming in to the Sigma Racing Series, becoming the champion in 2019, and later on winning this race the following year in 2020. Another driver that was a Sigma Cup champion, Aaron Rapp, ended up doing it in 2021. And I think he might have did it right about the same year that he won the championship. I could be mistaken. Let's see. So your 2020 champion was Aaron Rapp, and your 2017 champ was Scott Dixon. So Dixon did it 2 years later, 2 or 3, and Aaron Rapp did it the very following year. So if those trends suggest anything, obviously tonight Dalton Scott's missing from the field, so that trend won't return for 2026, where the driver ended up winning the championship, winning the this race following the championship a year or 2 later. But yeah, no, the impressive part was pretty much been 15 winners in 16 777 races. Which is an amazing parity stat to keep, keep people circling this one on their calendar because of the prestige. And anyone really has a shot at it. It kind of feels almost like a super speedway of sorts, because you might not have the skill set at the 1.5-mile tracks, but for whatever reason, just about anyone can show up here to the 777 annual and have a good run worth fighting for a win. And even more impressive is that every member of the immediate Schengle household has won here at the 777 annual. Monty Schengle, Tyler Schengle, Jacob Schengle, and Liz Schengle. The only one not yet to be here in Victory Lane at Las Vegas, of course, is Kara Schenkel. And it's a matter of time. We might see it someday. Might also see another Schenkel enter the fold before you know it. So, but until then, the primary Schenkel household of yesteryear all have a win here, the 777 annual. So it's kind of their stomping ground almost. It's one of the closest national NASCAR tracks to the home state of Washington. And it's always been a favorite of ours, especially since I've been to the race twice, back in 2023 and 2025 here at Las Vegas for the NASCAR Cup fall race. It's a fun track to go to. A lot you can see from your seats. Definitely fun with the infield experience where you can cross the track underneath and go on to the midfield, infield, and watch the racing from there. Great experiences with Fan Fest and just all through great time. And spending time in Vegas obviously can be a little bit expensive, but it's worthwhile when you have a race as exciting as Las Vegas and experiences as neat as the Neon Garage on the infield and whatnot. So 64 laps through 322. We've had 2 cautions so far, and it's knocked out kind of a decent chunk of drivers here in tonight's rerun of the 777 annual. Your race leader right now, Preston Kundo in the 77 over Cooper Dwight, who has slowly picked his way back up. Tyler Schenkel in 3rd. And how about the new father, now up into 4th, Jacob Schenkel, that number 60. Tribute machine there, Monty Schenkel Motorsports. Making some moves, trying to lay it out there. He's trying to establish a championship run here in 2026. It's been a tough year with kind of the runaway train so far that is Taden Berggren. And I mean, even while he's still within the top 10 there, it makes it hard to make up points on the 43 when he's always up front, always qualifying good, and maximizing on a bad day. Sometimes looks like, a 9th or a 10th at his worst. So it's tough to beat. Your points leader kind of establishing himself as the perennial favorite here in 2026. The big question here is what is going on with Tyler Schenkel? Such a long winless streak. We have not seen him to victory lane since 2024, and his brother has extended his all-time wins over Tyler by 2 races now. And Jacob now the winningest driver in Sigma Cup history as he took that title away from his brother Tyler. And it's pretty crazy. It seems like, this is a race where if you've done good years past, coming back here is always a fun race for those drivers. It seems to be one of those courses where if you have the right horse, you're always up front. But the crazy part is the amount of parity. I mean, in 16 races, only 15 different winners. We really haven't seen the, closing the job is a lot harder than running it throughout the night. There's always some strategies, some, miscalculations throughout the race. And we've seen that here so many times where you might have the best car. You might get trapped out by the midway point by a margin of mistakes. Brothers are now about to be 2 and 3. Preston Kundo leads over his boss, his team owner, the 7 of Tyler Schenkel there. Very interesting seeing the Denny Hamlin effect here in 2026 Sigma Cup. Tyler Schenkel racing for the father's team, paying honor to Greg Biffle with the throwback car. Car number 7. Greg Biffle had won some races in the Busch Series with that very number. And so that opened up the seat of the 77. Preston Kundo is actually driving Tyler Shangle's number 77 Dodge Charger that he would have been running this year had he not been paying tribute to Greg Biffle. And so, yeah, team owner right behind him in a Ford, while the team car that is ahead of him is in a Dodge. We are dealing with the lap traffic again, the 67 of Alex Crowther. I'm starting to have my doubts on whether or not I even DQ him, because it looks like he's gonna continue to be a thorn in the side for your leaders here tonight. 67's gonna hold up Tasha right a little bit. Kara Shangle's gonna blow by on the inside. The 43 Taden Bergeron making the move. And a new race leader on the verge of happening here. Tyler Shangle on the inside of the 77. Lap traffic slowed him up a little bit. Good run there. Tyler's going to go to the lead on his team car. Another team car to Tyler Shangle. The TSR number 69 of Lynn Farrell also creeping into the picture here. Still no disqualification yet on the 67 of Alex Crowther. But if anything, it may happen. I just don't remember if I ever did anything about it. Yeah, so old school in a few different ways. I mean, some of the officiating here tonight, obviously a little bit more relaxed than normal. Here at lap 75 of 322 here. Rest of the calendar looks a little complicated to try and figure out right when we're going to run all of our streams going forward here, but I would love to get back into the full swing of things mid-August, hopefully. Just not sure how that looks. Maybe if things work out, we can maybe fit some more in before mid-August, but it just depends on where my mind is, and obviously my priorities set differently right now. So the cup races, we're gonna probably keep them on a very strictly to the schedule, because these races are so long and a little bit harder to just sit down and marathon them out. The Bridge to Cup series, I might be able to figure out something about getting the full Cinda Cup championship chase started a little bit sooner than late August, but it's just stay tuned. Stay tuned. We could see maybe some more racing, maybe the Truck Series starting up a little bit sooner. Those races are usually pretty short, so if I have an hour of freedom in the next month, basically, obviously before late August, we might see some more broadcasts going up. But obviously Baby Evie is first and foremost, and I'll be focusing on raising the baby. Rolling around here for lap 80. If you are just now tuning in, you've only missed 2 cautions here tonight. Had a tumbler in both of those cautions. Driver went flipping over across the front stretch here in Las Vegas. Kind of reminiscent. I remember, I think it was might have been Tyler Reddick, it might have been Bubba Wallace. Can't remember which one it was, but it was like within the last 3 or 4 years here at Las Vegas that went for a tumble. I want to say it was Bubba Wallace, because I kind of remember Bubba storming at Kyle Larson after that wreck or whatever. No, it was the same race, but I think it was Tyler Reddick that went for a tumble, and Bubba Wallace got wrecked later that race too, and had a fight with Kyle Larson, I kind of remember. So Las Vegas, notorious apparently for within the last decade here, have some tumblers in the wrecks here. Yeah, Reddick. It would have been Reddick. I remember the 45. It was like early in the race. have a pit stop happening there for the 94 of Eli the Wolf. Lead change brewing here. Tyler Shangle looking to try and make it the only driver to go for 3 here in the 777 annual. How crazy would that be in the 7 car to go for number 3 in the 777 annual? Usually he's won this race in the 77. Gotcha, okay. Yeah, no, it's within the last 5 years for sure. I remember Kyle Larson and him having a bit of a scuffle on the front stretch as well. So here we go. Tyler Shangle looking on the inside of his team car there, going for the race lead. Winless since 2024. Tyler Shangle just desperately seeking finding victory lane again. Here we are dealing with some more lap traffic here tonight. They're going to blow by the 67 of Crowther there. Jacob Shangle in the 60 almost makes contact with him. And we've got pit stops here at lap 84, so I believe those are scheduled green flag pit stops. And we get a big wreck. Whoa, this kind of changes everything as caution comes out for the 3rd time here tonight, right when pit stops started happening. So dipping down pit road here. Scheduled pit stops beginning. 77 of Preston Kundo. That relinquishes the race lead over to Tyler Shangle. But as Tyler leads the race, he's coming up on the number 22 who's already lost it ahead of him. Full slam from the race lead. Tough break for Tyler Shangle. Holy crap. 22, it just makes kind of a weird move here. Goes down the apron, gets loose and slams into the wall. Loses all sense of intelligence there. Also involved in the mix in 95. James Fireball Robert sliding in after the fact, the 85 of Brian DeBlanc. And this is what's weird to me. I think because the AI just seemed to act a little differently on my laptop. And this race was run on the laptop, and it's just like, where in the world does that 22 get off doing that? Wrecks your race leader and collects a couple other drivers in the midst there. Gonna have to start wondering if Tyler Shangle's got a bit of a curse going on, because even when he gets up there to lead the race, this kind of stuff happens. And it takes him right out of the race from the lead. Heartbreak. And just hard to comprehend what in the world needs to change for that luck to get back with him. But we got to look at this right here. Watch the in-car for Jacob Shangle in the 60 here. Following right behind his brother. The track gets very narrow. And I don't know how he does not make contact with his brother in the number 7 car there. Watch in slow motion here. There was a slight clip there where he ended up making contact, but holy cow, that could be a big pivotal moment here in today's race, narrowly avoiding what could have been game over for the 60 team, and a few other drivers not as fortunate to get out of the mess unscathed. I do believe Kara Shangle might have gotten some damage here. Yeah, he had the Shangle Brigade running 1, 2, 3. Tyler out of the race here. Kara, oh, not as lucky. clobbers the side of the 7 car there. And in the midst of all this, the 85 of Brian DeBlanc, just wrong place, wrong time, clips the 7 and loses it. We'll have to go to the in-car cam on the 68 as well. As mentioned there in the comment section, you get to see the 85, bam! And the way he loses it and still slams into the 95, heartbreaking into the day for a couple of these drivers. 85 out on lap 85 nonetheless. So let's watch the slow-mo cam here on the 68 as well. He's inside of Cooper Dwight. The wrecking ahead starts happening. Karish Engel, nowhere to go. He slams on his brakes and kind of skids around there. Gets the apron and out of the way as all the chaos behind him unfolds. So your new race leader, it looks like, is going to be the number 60 of Jacob Shangle after all that carnage unfolds here. So we're going to go ahead and we'll get back to live here. Under caution for a couple laps. And we are back to green here on lap 90. Front row, Jacob Shangle and the 43 of Taden Bergeron, followed by Finlay Herwig and Luis Rodriguez. 5th place, it is Cooper Dwight and then Tom Cording in the number 30. Exciting racing action so far here in the 777 annual. A couple more drivers knocked out from the wreck there. As you can see, 85, Brian DeBlanc out, the 7 of Tyler Shangle out, 30th place. Followed by the 95, James Fireball Robert, the 22 of Trevor Walker, the 94 of Eli the Wolf. And the 67, I think, may have finally got his disqualification. Seems as if he might have, so we finally stepped in, did the right thing, kicking out some of the slower traffic, and we're rolling here on lap 92. Battle for the race lead starting to heat up here as Finlay Herwig in the number 68 Genesis fighting right alongside a driver that he's raced for over the years. That is actually semi-associated with the JSR Genesis team. It is, however, KGA Racing here in 2026, as he was able to secure a charter, but a very strong technical alliance with Jacob Shangle Racing nonetheless. 68 having a stout running here in the Las Vegas 777 annual, up to second, fighting alongside his comrade in speed, the 60 of Jacob Shangle. Well, from being a new father on the 6th and racing in the 777 annual, Jacob Shangle leads the race here in Las Vegas, a track that has been kind to him in the past years. A race winner here, finally within the last several years when we run it. Just so happens that he was the winner in 2023. So that'll kind of segue into the last stretch of active race winners from this race. 2022 was Larry Lusk, another Washingtonian from Tri-Cities area. It was 2023, Jacob Shangle did it. First time in his career, a big notch in his belt. Had been hoping and praying to get this race win and finally did it. So that kind of was 3/4 of the Shangle household getting the win here. And it just so happened the following year, Liz Shangle did it in the most astounding fashion. It was a photo finish here in the 777 annual back in 2024. the closest finish in Sigma Cup history belonged to Liz Shangle. The second, however, also belongs to Tyler Shangle. So the Shangle clan has been able to secure 2 of the photo finishes in Sigma racing history. And it's crazy that this one happened at a crown jewel event with Liz Shangle, who had not yet gotten her 777 annual. And she did it, amazingly enough, against that year's champion, Al Bunch. Al Bunch had went on a tear and won 15 races that year and came up short here at the crown jewel event, the 777 annual, which he still has not been able to secure a win here in Las Vegas. So that's one that got away from Al Bunch, and I'm sure, just like any other crown jewel event, you're going to remember those ones worse. Those are going to be the ones that hurt for a while. They sting. Still only 2 years removed. I guarantee you Al Bunch thinks about that race back in 2024. And then last year, 2025, this race went the way of Braden Varga. A very tumultuous season with Cording Brothers Motorsports already, claiming that they had no interest of re-signing him. He kind of went on a tear and won as many races as he could that year to try and stick it to the team owner, and still ultimately finished second in the points and got let go by the team. Come to it this year, he's a team owner himself in the BBB Plus One racing team. And he has a win this year, but it just has not been the same, Braden Varga. And that gets us through all of our race winners here, and we're here at lap 100 with a battle for the race lead. Jacob is defending against your points leader, Taden Berggren, in second. Cooper Dwight has led some good laps here tonight. Just a minor blip in the feed there as we went staticky there. And the 43 goes to the race lead. Your points leader trying to secure max points here tonight in Las Vegas. Or at least as max points as he can get. Not getting the pole, but trying to lead some laps here and potentially lead most laps. Could be some more points in his pocket. Some other fun facts that come up. You had average winner start position has been a 14.8. So if you qualify outside the top 14, you could have a chance, but usually it comes within the top 14. Your race winner, someone in that position. Average DNFs, we usually have about 16, 17 cars DNF here. We're on track with that about right now, as we currently have we have about 17 or 18 right now, so it's about on par here for the 777 annual. We have had 4 winners from outside 20th position from qualifying, but majority of the field have all come within the top 10, so 8 winners from the top 10 starting positions. So it is key. It is huge to qualify well here at Las Vegas. Sometimes the length of this race allows for people to make it from further back, but typically you're going to be in the catbird seat based on qualifying. Welcome into the stream there, Cannon Gage. You definitely have had a good going so far. You're still running out there in the race as you sit on the field right now after a set of cautions. 22nd But your car's clean, free of damage, and there's definitely been some nasty wrecks, so you've been able to steer clear of the big wrecks. You're currently running right behind what was a race leader earlier here tonight, Preston Kundo in the 77. So, oh wait, 20 seconds, so you're a lap down. I don't know where that happened, maybe a pit stop that you held up, but your car looks clean, so you didn't get any damage. You're definitely running fast, so it must have been a pit stop. That's probably what happened. We've seen some weird strategy calls on pit stops here tonight already, and that's what brought out the third caution, was a kind of unexpected stretch of pit stops there that shook it all up. New race leader Taden Berggren takes it away from Jacob Schenkel in the number 60 machine there. Also moving into the picture, you have the number 33 of Shy Turtle trying to assert his position in the top three. Kind of put into perspective here, average start position for a winner at Talladega is a 23.3. Average winner start position here at the 777 annual is about 15. So definitely a very, top heavy track on qualifying. As it rewards speed more than Talladega, but still leaves room for strategy and survival. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Kyle Busch came the deepest, starting 33rd. Larry Lusk came from 26th in 2022. Liz Schenkel came from 25th, and Monty Schenkel came from 24th. So Liz and Monty make up almost an identical pattern there to come from 24th and 25th to win the races. But it was 13 years separated from each other. Braden Varga did it in 2025, coming from 20th. Another fascinating number, not to try and tamp any egos, but the Schenkel family has won 31.25% of all the 777 annuals. That's a very interesting factoid. 32% basically of these races have been won by a Schenkel. And honestly, it's probably the strongest trend in all of the Sigma races to have. Obviously, they've got around and won a lot of races, but for this track in particular, 5 of the 16 races being won from the Schenkel household is beyond impressive. That'd be like Kurt and Kyle Busch owning this track every year they came here. It's kind of on the same level of Denny Hamlin winning at Pocono 10 or 11 times. I mean, it's just unheard of numbers, unheard of stats. And especially in a series that is full of parity and unpredictability, for them to come back here each and every year and still have a shot to fight for the race wins is impressive. Finlay Herwig, as mentioned earlier, he came here in his series debut, I believe. It might have been his series debut here at the 777 annual, and he was able to muster a top 10 finish in his series, one of his first Cup races, if not series debut. Having another good run here tonight at Las Vegas. Kind of like, you think about it, the international flair, NASCAR's got with Shane Van Gisbergen. Kind of have that in Finlay Herwig from Britain. And it seems like he's starting to get these ovals figured out just like SVG is in NASCAR. Cutting his teeth at Brands Hatch and all the road course racing. You kind of come to expect Finlay Herwig to be stout and unbeatable when it comes to road course racing. But he's getting a knack for these oval tracks as well. Yeah, so it was his Cup debut. And what a place to get your debut at, one of the most prestigious crown jewel events of the Sigma Cup calendar. After tonight, we have 3 races left of normal points paying. And then it is the double point stretch, kind of our unique gimmick to the Sigma Championship. There's no chase, there's no playoffs. Everyone am having internet connection issues, even on a replay, so go figure. But those next 3 races before we go to the double points stretch of our season, we're going to have Ricky Raceway, followed by Michigan and Pocono. 3 very, very unique tracks, very fun tracks to race at. A lot of points up for grabs between those 3 races before double points really turns this season up on its head. Shy Turtle gets up to second here, fighting for the race lead now with the 43 of Tayden Berggren. Jacob Schengle falls back to third. The double point stretch gets interesting as the first race will be the Sigma 600 from Daytona. We tried it last year. It's kind of weird. It's kind of wild. It's kind of different. We're going to try it again this year, but we're going to drop it off the calendar after the conclusion of 2026. We will just go to Daytona once yet again in 2027. But double points, anything could happen. It could get wild. Then it'll be Darlington for the Southern 500. Fontana for the Wild West 500. Riverside, the road course, the Fisherman 204. Rockingham, the Rock Annual 400. Followed by South Boston, Richmond, Lucas Oil, or Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's no longer known as Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Kyalami, another road course on the calendar, familiar with the F1 crowd. Texas World Super Speedway is the home to the Music Fest Grand Prix here in 2026. It's been a little harder to actually get schemes concocted here, so stay tuned for more details on the Music Fest Grand Prix. Last year was my goal to go bigger than ever and go beyond the limits of what I thought was imaginable. I'm going to have to dial it back on the grandeur and the fanfare to try and kind of hone the craft here and deliver the best product possible. So we're not going to have 110 cars for the Music Fest Grand Prix here in 2026. Hopefully you all enjoyed that spectacle last year. It may be one of its only, one and only of its kind. So this year, the Music Fest Grand Prix, you're probably looking at about the same amount of cars that have attempted to run each and every Cup race this season. So about 55 different cars. Sprint qualifier, maybe some heat races, something that'll kind of shake it up a little bit. But of course, it'll be worth double points. So it's going to be a big race on everyone's calendar still. So we look forward to seeing the Music Fest paint schemes and how they all turn out. Oh, wow, Monty falls way off the pace here. Drops below the line and holding up the 55, Luis Rodriguez now. That 16 fell off the cliff all of a sudden. Kinda. On the original calendar, I might kind of sway from that. So if you're talking about Bridge to Cup, maybe might be on the calendar as it's stated, but I might try to sort of tweak it a little bit too. So no guarantee on staying as accurate to the calendar as possible. kind of hoping to maybe find some free time to try and do some Bridge to Cup races sooner than late August, or even some truck races sooner than late August. But it'll all be dependent on where my free time lies. So, but in the meanwhile, you're looking at your points leader here in the Cup, the race leader, Taden Berggren, holding off the 33 of Shy Turtle as we have now reached lap 131 here in the 777 annual. Thank you to everyone tuning in here tonight, kind of on, the whim, just on short notice, random, moment that we hopped on to do this broadcast here tonight. I think I finally start to feel like I've got a rhythm going here at home, been able to sleep and still wake up and, take care of baby Evie and focus on, health and all that first and foremost. Been trying to kind of clear my mind with extracurricular, projects and stuff, and been building on our home track here in NR2003. I've been following along with the other side of the community. From Reddit, there was a guy that's been trying to reverse engineer NASCAR Racing 2003. And it really kind of caught my interest because it was kind of crazy, kind of wild, and he was actually making progress, something that he could show to people. And I was like, maybe there's something to this. The whole time at the back of my mind, I kind of figured that there's a lot of gray area. And iRacing does, in fact, still own the original code for NASCAR Racing 2003. You look it up in the copyright laws, you look up in the database that actually shows you who owns what copyright and whatnot. It does, in fact, say iRacing. When you look at NASCAR Racing 2003 season, it did show Papyrus, and then it said Bill of Sale, showing that it was transferred over to First LLC, which was the original name before they changed over to iRacing. And it does say somewhere on it as well that iRacing is now the owner of the original NR2003 code. So, been following along with this, and it's like all of a sudden, full steam ahead. The original guy that's been working on it sent a letter to iRacing asking for permission. And that did not go so well within the last couple days. I mean, this has all been going on since the day Evie was born. I kind of jumped on their Discord channel to follow along and see what was going down. And, man, it's like meeting of the minds. Some of the biggest mod creators, track builders, painters, everyone that's the big names in NR 2003 community were kind of there. I've seen Sign On, I've seen Mystical, I've seen John, is it John or is it James Hodge, the one that created the FCRD NCS 22 mod, the newest, most recent next gen mod. So these are all big name community members, and they're in this server and supporting it, and I'm, you know, just kind of quietly supporting it. You know, it's like I know that there's a lot of gray area there, and I've been following it, and it's like kind of giving my suggestions here and there. That's perfect. Keep taking the screenshots. Hopefully we can maybe put together a page on the Discord of all those screenshots that you've hosted. Kind of like the Crash Hall of Fame. I dig that you get those screenshots whenever you follow with the broadcast. That's awesome. But yeah, no, they got an email back from iRacing basically telling them to kind of stop doing what they were doing because it was getting a little too close to the coding, the original code of NR2003, which then of course in, you know, direct comparison is getting that much closer to the coding of iRacing. So kind of had them worried a little bit, and he's tweaking on the go, trying to make something else out of this project. I mean, he kind of has the entire community backing him right now. And in the midst of all this, all the drama with Stunod and other community, you know, big changes. I mean, we've seen some interesting mods pop up here left and right. How about the Cars mod, where you can go out there and race as Lightning McQueen in the actual body styles from the Cars movie? The King with the big wing, and Chick Hicks with the old, you know, 80s look and whatnot. Kind of makes me wonder how many of these people are falling back on AI to try and get savvy, learning code and all that. It really, at the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, where did all these modders come from, and why is it all of a sudden here in 2026 that we're building a crap ton of new mods for a 23-year-old game? The only thing that changed within this last couple years has definitely been the rise of AI. And how easy is it for any of us to become a modder? I mean, if you had the patience, if you have the free time, just sit back. Pardon me. If you just sit back with AI and talk to it, you could pretty much learn coding on your own. It's kind of crazy to think about. I don't know if it's scary or cool. You know, I'm kind of impartial because it's different. But all of a sudden, we've got so many mods, and here we have green flag pit stops here in the 777 annual. Your leaders under green flag making pit stops here. That is going to swap the race lead on over to the number 41 of Cooper Dwight. He's going to stay out one more lap and then make his pit stop as well. Oh, 55 misses pit road, slides through the grass, but finds his pit stall in time there. Kind of rambled on there about AI and stuff, but kind of weird strategies being called here. Look at that, Finlay Herwig makes a move. He's going to get by the 68, or the 60, I mean. 30, the 69. Here he is. He's going to come out right behind the 33 of Shy Turtle and the 43 of Taden Bergeron, who is likely going to be your new race leader once this all shuffles out here. Lap 147, now 148 of 322 laps here tonight. We're just about 10 laps short from halfway here. Oh, wow. Cooper Dwight extends the overcut, and he's even going to come back out right in front of your leader after pitting last of everyone there. It ain't going to last long as he's got the cold tires getting up to speed here. And 68 makes the move up to second. Here he is coming, fighting for the race lead. Taden Bergeron takes back the race lead from the 41. 55, Luis Rodriguez cycles back out right behind Shy Turtle there. plethora of pit stops after the fact as it stays green. No caution. We went through a full steady segment of green flag pit stops here in the 777 annual. Tasha Wright in 5th, followed by Lynn Farrell in 6th, Tom Cording in 7th, Jacob Schengle in 8th, John Hagan in 9th, and Canning is actually 19th. Al Bunch 20th. Trying to blank. There we go. Campbell Marsh top 10. Previous leader in the race here, Preston Kundo, trapped a lap down in 21st. So we only have 17 cars on lead lap at the moment. Tuning in here at the halfway point roughly, you've only missed 3 cautions here tonight, most of which have included some pretty gnarly carnage here tonight, and it's been a fun one. The Las Vegas track never disappoints. We always have some shenanigans and craziness, and especially since this race was run on my laptop, we had some even more weird AI moments than we normally do. Some more NR2003 certified situations. Only will it happen when you're playing NASCAR Racing 2003 season. This thing has a spirit of its own. Taden Bergeron, he really is trying to rack up lead most laps here tonight as he's back up front leading, points leader. Defending now against Finlay Herwig in 2nd. Typically, this race does see a couple more cautions before the end of it. So I would not count out some more cautions later in the race, maybe even sooner than later. It's been, yeah, I guess it's been quite a while, almost a whole month here. Hopefully everyone had a fabulous 4th of July. I know I did. I definitely went to my local racetrack to check out the Tri-City Raceway Cars Tour West. Got to get my Kevin Harvick die-cast signed. Got to have a picture, me and my dad there with Kevin Harvick at Tri-City Raceway. And let me tell you, that was the coolest experience being at a racetrack on the 4th of July. Because from your seat, as soon as the race got through the dark part of the night, all you could see all around the racetrack was fireworks going off left and right and behind you. There were some red flag periods, and I don't know if anyone was watching perhaps on maybe Flow Racing to catch that race. But if they were able to on the broadcast, you could see all the fireworks during the red flag all around the racetrack. The coolest, neatest experience I've ever had going to the local races. Probably not going to happen every year because obviously the 4th of July doesn't always fall on a Saturday. But we were pretty lucky that it fell on a Saturday this year. And of course, you know, the next day was a big life-changing moment from there on. And just 2 days afterwards, the birth of our baby daughter. So I'm still trying to juggle what it's going to be like going forward here with broadcasting. And I feel like definitely shortening these races is going to be huge, not just for the average viewer, but for me now and my fatherly duties. It's going to be something that I got to really hone in, kind of try to whittle it down to where these races are a little bit more on the bite-sized side. Cup Series is supposed to be more of an endurance, just like this one here tonight, 777 kilometers, which is actually, I think, only 432 miles, which is, okay, 483 miles when you convert what even is a kilometer. So when I go to look at the schedule for next year, that's going to be something at the back of my mind. Obviously, dropping the ARCA series is going to be huge for my own mental health to try and dial it down and not have too many plates spinning. But I'm proud that the cording side of things is going to get us going with iRacing. I know there's a few other people interested in the iRacing side of this that, you know, we're going to probably jump into that. I wouldn't mind helping facilitate and make it happen. It's kind of been a brain scratcher the last couple weeks with the tornado that has been Stunod, you know, with a hacker problem. iRacing actually got targeted with a security, it's a flaw. Someone hacked the iRacing side of things too, just right after Stunod had a moment where they had to shut down and figure out what went wrong. So I don't know if there's an entity out there that's trying to maybe try to, who knows, steal the coding of NR2003 or iRacing. But it is just kind of, it's been a weird, wild last, you know, half the month here in July. Tomorrow will be July 31st, and then we're rolling right into August here, so. But I'll be honest, with all of that unpredictability, it's been kind of weighing on my mind as to what it's going to do to the community of NR2003. I don't feel like it's going to do much. I don't think we're going to lose too many people. I don't think it's really going to affect us all that much. But it is kind of scary to think, especially with Stunod now limiting downloads, and even potentially making it a paywall to earn more daily download quotas. So like right now, if you have no account, you're limited to 5 downloads in a 24-hour period. If you're an active member within, you know, maybe upload a couple tracks or files, it looks like you can have about 10 downloads in a 24-hour period. But it's looking like if you donate anywhere from $5 to $200, you might get upwards of anywhere between 15 to 15 downloads allowed on the server. So definitely some gray area there. That's all I'll say. I don't want to be involved or even get myself inserted into any of those big questionable conversations. I know that iRacing owns the code, and I know how hard it is to maintain a community, especially just, you know, on their scale, where they're basically hosting about 15 years worth of random data, which is all directly tied to this game. It gets expensive, especially hosting a website. They need to make it, you know, obviously clear that all the donations are, you know, for non-profit. I think would have to be where they can keep it from looking like it might be in the red area and still kind of function on the gray area of it all. Because if it's for non-profit or, you know, not for profit, they can make donations go towards just the, you know, continuation of hosting the website or continuation of upgrading the website, anything to make that website continue to function. Just my 2 cents on the matter. For me, I know it, you know, it doesn't bother me all that much, but hosting the Discord server with all the bonus emojis and kind of trinkets and doodads that we've got costs some, you know, but it's worth it at the end of the day to have all the fun stuff for the server and allow us to actually host files that are larger than 5 megabytes. I think I can post at least a 500 megabyte file on Discord, which is more than enough for the NR2003 side of things, because if you're trying to share a track or you're trying to share maybe even a car pack, you can upload a car pack and people can download it even if they don't have Discord Nitro. So I think that's a lot of what they've been trying to figure out with Stunod, like their switch over to Discord. It was an attempt to try and make it more efficient and not as expensive, which if done right, they could have made that work. I mean, but not everyone's going to have Discord Nitro. And that's the problem with jumping to Discord is unless you have Discord Nitro, you're not going to be able to post a file larger than 5 megabytes. So then enters the website theory again, keeping the website going. And, you know, obviously it costs a lot of money to keep a website rolling, so there's kind of got to be that happy medium somewhere. And I think they're trying to find it, but as of when I last checked, it looked like they're down for maintenance. So we might know sooner than later the moving forward point of Stunod. Oh, well, it's back up, and now it just shows you what your download rate is with the amount of time left until it resets. So they're going full in on it, making it so that, and I'll show you, or I'll tell you, because I saw this ticker here earlier. So if you're a guest, you can still download, no registry, but you're limited to 5 downloads a day. Crazy, right? Because this is all content that we've created. This is not content that they particularly own, nor do they own the rights to the game coding and anything created from it. I do feel like you're probably going to see a lot of people push back on this, and there's going to be a new form of file sharing. Stunod's still going to hold a lot of the data. Problem is, you might not see as many people posting on Stunod anymore, so it's kind of a catch-20. If you're a Cold Pass member, which is standard registered amount, count, you get 8 downloads a day. Hot Pass is someone that's actively posting and has submitted downloads. They get 10 downloads a day. This is where it gets kind of foggy and a little bit, I'm not sure that it would pass if iRacing caught wind of this or maybe had any concern or irritations about it. And it is probably working within the legality right of things because it is a donation. It's not required. It's not a subscription. It is a charitable donation, which is different than paying for a product. They have 4 classes of supporter, and if you donate anywhere between $1 to $4 a year, your download rate goes up to 15 downloads. Okay, yeah, maybe $5 will get you something out of it. 20 downloads a day with a donation of $5 to $9 in the year. 25 downloads a day with a donation of anywhere from $10 to $19. 35 downloads if you've donated anywhere between $20 to $49. And then you get unlimited download status if you've donated a $50 bill or more. It's no different than, let's say, Wikipedia, because like right now they're asking for donations because it is so expensive to upkeep. Even the, thought of Wikipedia. And chances are they're trying to support no ads. They don't want to have an ad-based Wikipedia page when you're on there just trying to learn something about someone. It's the same thing. And I mean, if websites were completely free, which I've figured out how to make a free website, and I only paid $5 a month on it, less than that actually. But it's all, it's all pretty crazy to me to think that, now Stunod is actually offering perks for your donations. So take with that what you will. Obviously, if you've been in the NR2003 community as long as I have, you've seen it. You've probably experienced something on the manner of, sites coming and going, and instead of shutting down, I I hope it works, and I hope it's within the legal rights. And we'll see. They also offer other perks if you're a member of the year, a render partner, part of their paint crew, part of the official DMR mod team, or co-owner, admin, any of that. You get unlimited downloads at Stunod. So sounds like a lot of the community starting to jump ship and set up their own websites, though. So we'll see where this leads the already tumultuous NR2003 community, that is. Pretty crazy. And I can't thank you all enough for your support and continued following of the Sigma Racing universe. It keeps it, keeps it fun and allows me to make it enjoyable. So that's what this is all about. It's about enjoyment. It's about fun. And that's what it should be at the end of the day, is just a nice kickback from reality once in a while. Well, we definitely have had a lull in the racing action. It's been a follow the leader affair. After that round of green flag pit stops, Tadenberger, and your points leader and race leader follows in front of Cooper Dwight. Shy Turtle in third, Finlay Herwig in fourth. Then it is fifth place, Tom Cording and his teammate Tasha Wright. Sixth, Lynn Farrell seventh. Jacob Shangle running in eighth, John Hagan in ninth. And all the way back to 10th, up into 10th now, it is Chris Harvey making some moves, gaining some spots. Campbell Marsh falls back to 11th. Running in 12th is Lewis Tross right now, fighting for that position with Tyler Aspinall, 12th and 13th there. Kara Shangle running in 14th. She had a little bit of damage making contact with Tyler there. Her car not quite the same after that. And in his last ever run here in the Sigma Cup Series, this ride is going to be replaced by Ryan White the next race we go to at Ricky Raceway. Ryan White, champion in the ARCA Series, and has moved up the ladder into Bridge to Cup this year, racing for Jacob Shangle Racing. It just so happened to be the perfect fit. He gets the call up to finish out the season in this full-time chartered ride. The number 64 Genesis is going to be flying the colors Canada. Next race on the calendar when we go to Ricky Raceway. Which I want to say Ricky Raceway is based in Canada, so impressively home track for him as well. We'll see how he does. That 64 has won a race this year at the New York City Street Circuit. Wyatt Wilkinson in 16th. 17th place belongs to Chaz Chadwick. And we're back to your race lead as we've cycled through the whole field here. Lap 190 of 322 on the horizon. Alrighty, I sort of looked away there for a minute. We got some lap traffic with your leaders here. Shy Turtle leads this thing over the 41 of Cooper Dwight. The 43 of Tate Bergeron has fallen back to third. So lap traffic shuffles things up a little bit here. The 18, Chaz Chadwick, going a lap down, running in 16th. So we only have 15 cars left on the lead lap. Dealing with the lap traffic, the 68 there, Finley Herwig, gets slowed up a little bit. He's going to have to get around the 18 as well to get back in the mix here, as we're slowly reeling in the 200 lap mark into today's re-air of the 777 annual. Cooper Dwight leading over Shy Turtle and Taden Bergeron. Lap traffic ahead to deal with is going to be the 64 Sebastian Torres, running in 15th. Jimmy Logano, who's already a lap down, running in 23rd, about to go another lap down. So this almost feels like one of those old throwback NASCAR races where you're down only 14 cars on the lead lap after the halfway point. Kind of a gritty race to try and survive and thrive through the second half of the night. Cooper Dwight showing his muscle, though, in the right place at the right time to hold the lead. Definitely some weird strategies have unfolded here. A lot of drivers that pitted and fell a lap down out of, unexpected stops. And green flag pit stops really shaking up the order a little bit too, as we've seen some drivers really capitalize on making the best of their pit stops under green flag circumstances. 28 lap traffic is going to slow up the 33 of Shy Turtle, as 68 of Finley Herwig is reeling him in here. Yeah, very much like North Wilkesboro in the Cup race just a couple weeks ago. First race that well, actually, the first race I got to watch at home after becoming a dad was the Atlanta race, which Ryan Blaney ended up winning, so that was pretty neat. And then that North Wilkesboro race was pretty... It was kind of a snoozer, but at the same time, it was pretty cool that it played out the way it did for Joey Logano to win. And now it has most of the NASCAR community quaking in their boots because Joey Logano's back, like he left. I don't think he ever really left. I think he's just been trying to figure out the new system, perhaps getting caught back up with the car, and all of a sudden he's a threat. Well, just like every even year, Joey Logano seems to have a shot at the championship. Every time it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, whatever, he's always up there in a championship position. So we've got our fourth caution here tonight, and it comes at lap 202. And so the caution looks like it's going to be right here involving the 88 of John Hagan. Just a mechanical failure, and bam, the 81 of Al Bunch runs into him there. From ninth place, like he has a mechanical failure, and then bam, hard hit. The car slides through the grass. And now he turns to try and head to pit road. Wow. Misses his pit stall, I think. That's weird. That's a very unusual way to wreck, and tough break for Al Bunch, just slams into him there. The instant recovery on the 88 is what's got me all weirded out. That car spins halfway and then rights it right away. Bam. Yet again, I attribute that to my laptop and the weirdness that is, so. But that's a game ender for the 81 of Al Bunch. His attempt to try and achieve the 777 annual has fallen through the floor once again. So, we are gonna get back to green here in the next lap. I'm trying to figure out what the heck happened here. There was no caution for, or was there? I went too far back. That's what happened. We had one of those jumped restart situations as we've had before. Here, the outside lane does not get sorted very well. 33 of Shy Turtle kind of slacking, getting up to green, and it's going to be a jump start for the 41 of Cooper Dwight. Jump start for the 43 and the 33, I think, also involved here. So as it seems, black flags might be for a few drivers, but I think your first driver with no black flag, it's going to be the 68 of Finley Herwig, who should be the one cycling around to the race lead here if everything goes right. And battle for the race lead. There we go, 68 stays on the track. 69, everyone else gets woed up as they cut down the apron. Finley Herwig leading here in the 777 annual here at lap 208. So, of course, some more shenanigans, NASCAR Racing 2003 style. Go figure. Couldn't avoid us even at the crown jewel, the 777 annual, as we had some jumpers there, jumping the restart. Well, we're going to be getting into our last 100 laps to go here in the 777 annual. Finley Herwig leading the race here tonight in Las Vegas. We're going to go through the field once again. Running in second place, it is the number 60 there, Jacob Shangle. Third place at the moment belongs to Campbell Marsh, followed by fourth, now third place, Cannon Gage. Fifth place, Luis Rodriguez, followed by Louis Trost, fifth and sixth. Tom Cording, Tate Berggren, Lynn Farrell, and Tyler Aspinall, your top 10. And there's Wyatt Wilkinson 1 lap after getting the black flag on the restart there. Kara Shangle running in 11th. 12th place is Chaz Chadwick. Jimmy Logano, lap down in 20th. Snake Plissken, a lap down in 21st. Sebastian Torres with that wrinkled up car still putting on a top 15 run in 13th. Then is Bradley Ream 1 lap down in 22nd. Monty Shangle multiple laps down in 23rd. Tasha Wright got a little bit of damage on that 90 machine we must have missed, but I think it had to have done with this restart where everyone got stacked up and all the black flag drivers pulled down pit roads. So that 90 a little bit worse for the wear. Preston Kundo running in 16th, 1 lap down, I believe. 15th. Where did the 15th place driver go? Cooper Dwight, Shy Turtle, and now about to go a lap down at Finley Herwig. Oh, 15th, yep, 1 lap down is John Hagan running in 15th. And these drivers about to go 2 laps down as Preston Kundo 1 lap down in 16th, Cooper Dwight 17th, Shy Turtle at risk of going a 2nd lap down here in 18th. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Las Vegas is home to the 2nd closest photo finish in Sigma history back in 2024 when Liz Shangle beat the very hot and hard to beat Al Bunch here at Las Vegas to earn her first ever 777 annual race win. That first and the closest still in Sigma Cup history belongs to Tyler Shangle. We went to Papyrus Motorsports Park, and forever the closest finish in Sigma Cup history. Could we be in store for another close finish here in the 777 annual 2026? We'll have to wait and see. 100 laps, time will tell. Finley having a stellar run. He's built up a gap now on Jacob Shangle in 2nd, where Finley's about 1/10 faster each lap, maybe even 2/10 faster. Starting to build a big gap on the 60 of Jacob Shangle here. Wow, this is peak Sigma broadcast numbers here tonight. I know that, it's been a big break, and, that usually makes people more inclined to tune in because it's been a long period of time since my last broadcast. Makes for more people to actually catch the action when we do go live. But between about a peak of 12 people tuned in at once and 86 views here tonight, that's pretty stellar for a Cup broadcast. I don't think I've seen double digits on Cup broadcasts in a long time that are this high. So thank you everyone keeping tuning in. I know it's midnight over there on the East Coast right now. It's still 9 o'clock on the west side, but we only have just under 100 laps left to go in the 777 annual, and we'll be crowning, well, at least you'll know who the champion of the race was from July 7th, as we postponed the broadcast of this race. Put it up to a vote if everyone wanted to know the spoiler or if wanted to have the broadcast and not get it spoiled. Just about 99% of the people voted wait to broadcast the race. Don't spoil it. And so I did that. I haven't spoiled it for anyone. No one knows who's won the race. And look at that. Finley Herwig in his second visit to Las Vegas. Fighting with a good fight here tonight. Has the race lead over Jacob Shangle, a previous winner in the series here in the 777 annual. You look back at 2025, Finley Herwig here in the Sigma Cup Series. Yeah, as prior mentioned, he series debut in the Cup side of things, finished 9th here after qualifying 35th. Led 2 laps. Well, he's already done more than that tonight. He's led plenty of laps here. Did win the 8 Bull at the beginning of the year here, which, believe it or not, he actually had 32 laps led at the 8 Bull last year. So that's a track just like Las Vegas, it seems like kind of has it figured out. It's interesting how that happens to so many of these drivers. Still a lot of racing to go. A lot can happen here with 90 laps left in the running. Finley is putting himself in a position to try and lead most laps here tonight, as there's really no competition at the lead right now. And between the mixture of drivers that had led, I think under the last caution everyone pitted, so this should be a long green flag run if he's able to maintain his advantage here over Jacob Shangle and the rest of the field behind him. Not a lot of drama. This kind of turned into one of those drag outs after a caution period where we just kind of follow the leader. Jacob Shangle now having to defend for second place. There's battle brewing here as Luis Rodriguez looking on the backside, going about a 10th faster. KBM's got a couple cars in the mix here running 3rd and 4th. Tom Cording in that number 30 Kyle Busch tribute car. It's a brigade of Kyle Busch tribute cars there, as you've got the 60 Rowdy Energy on the side, the 55 3 Chi Cadillac, the NOS Energy 30 Cadillac, and the number 8 Dodge Charger, tributing the last major paint scheme that Kyle Busch was synonymous with, their kind of fusion with his M&M's iconic ride. Still, it's crazy to think that this year has been one of the strangest years for, losing so many high caliber drivers. I mean, Greg Biffle and Kyle Busch, those two definitely hit pretty hard. You still lost other big names like Ned Jarrett and some other drivers like Michael Annett in the last basically the last year, and it's crazy, you know. It's always great to remember them and honor them as much as we can. Keep their memories alive, and I'm always keeping these cars forever in the series, in the game, as we'll probably figure out ways to honor the tribute cars going forward, but it's not going to be an entire field full of tribute cars like this year has been. So expect some silly season changes on big name sponsors and teams, and this Cup Series is going to get interesting in 2027, that's for sure. Some very high-profile drivers making the move up the ladder. We've had probably one of the most spirited Bridge to Cup battles in Sigma racing history this year. And it's you know, the best of the best right now are going to be figuring out their way up the ladder. When you got drivers like Sebastian Galloway Jr. or Ralph Oberstadt. At one point, Finlay Herwig was that guy moving up the ladder. Here he is tonight leading Crown Jewel race. Top of my head, I can't quite remember. There we go. Yeah, you got names like Cannon Gage, who's already starting to show his promise in his select Cup starts. Snake Plissken, all he does is win. Won a bunch of ARCA races, moved up the ladder, and now he's won a bunch of races in Bridge to Cup. Joey Johnson, just like his team owner Jimmy Logano. Jimmy Logano made the move from Bridge to Cup pretty rapidly, and now Joey Johnson putting himself in the scenario as well. And it's going to be exciting. We're going to have Sigma sponsoring one of Jimmy Logano's rides here in the NASCAR series. His posts on Instagram where he goes from each race with the big, the big Cup series. Couple of races on that radar: Daytona, Phoenix, and of course Las Vegas. It sounds like someone else might have beat me to the Punch Bowl on Las Vegas, so we kind of have to wait and see if we get the first pick or if we have to fall back on a second pick, which I think, if anything, Daytona wouldn't be half bad either. Hopefully Joey Logano, because that's the thing, if Joey Logano or Jimmy Johnson win a race, that's when Jimmy Logano credits himself as a race winner. So hopefully a race that Joey Logano can win is the race that we can get in on. And Las Vegas would be a very, very Joey Logano special race to where Jimmy Logano's 28 machine could win. Just saying. Then, of course, you have Shy Turtle, Lefty Turner, Chase Kovacic, and even Campbell Marsh. All these drivers could be looking or eyeballing a Cup ride next year. And to think of all the sponsors and the names that go with them, who knows what 2027 is going to bring. It's going to be exciting. Of course, tonight, known as the Rowdy Memorial 777 Annual, the one and only time we're going to be calling it the Rowdy Memorial. We did one back in 2012 after the passing of Dan Weldon. We didn't really credit it as the Dan Weldon Memorial, but my brother Tyler was out there in a Dan Weldon tribute scheme, and he ended up winning it at Las Vegas here, where Las Vegas, if most of you don't know who Dan Weldon was, he ended up dying here at Las Vegas in an IndyCar wreck in 2011. And to honor him, I wanted to run a tribute car. That was the first time we did a tribute car in Sigma racing history back in 2012. And it started the race and finished the race with a win. So pretty neat. Dan Weldon tribute car ended up winning here at Las Vegas. I'm sure it helped lift some spirits at the Las Vegas Motorspeedway after the devastation that was the Indianapolis IndyCars debacle that ended up costing his life. And that in its own was kind of a very convoluted story too. And Dan Weldon won the Indianapolis 500 that year. I remember the fact that J.R. Hildebrand was leading the race on the last lap. And it almost felt like divine intervention, because all of a sudden, coming out of turn 4, his right front breaks and he slams into the wall. And then out of nowhere, running in second, Dan Weldon starts flying by and ended up winning. I want to say that was his second career Indianapolis 500. But he never had a full-time ride that year. Kind of like the equivalent of a Corey Heim, was in between shifts as an IndyCar driver. And Dan Weldon never ran any other races that year except for his Indianapolis 500 win. So how does he get to the point where he's running a Las Vegas race at the end of the year, the championship finale? Well, and there's a guy on YouTube, if you look it up, The Perfect Storm has the best documentary on this event in 2011 with IndyCar, and you can look into it a little bit. It's really a good watch. But as I was saying, how did Dan Weldon end up racing after having no full-time ride? It was also announced, after that, shortly, and he was a pit road reporter. He was following the IndyCar series around, doing interviews with drivers on pit road, and just excited for the future, And he was going to have a full-time ride with Andretti going forward in the number 27 machine. And that was after Danica Patrick was leaving IndyCar to go full-time in NASCAR the following year. Well, Dan Weldon was offered an opportunity to get into, and this in its own is rare because there's never been a 34th car on the grid in IndyCar. I'm thinking in IndyCar history, basically. But it was $1 million challenge, and you were basically given a ride to start at the back of the field. You were the 34th car, and this was at Las Vegas Motorspeedway. It was a track that they had not run at before, hadn't done any, big testing, and kind of like Texas. I mean, they've run Texas before that, and it worked. But Vegas was a different beast. I don't know if elevation or anything else had to factor in there, but it was already a dangerous, experience that he had to start at the very back of the field. Well, within the first 12 laps, he'd already cleared half the field, and then the big wreck happened, and the rest after that obviously was what happened. But yeah, I don't know if most of the people that tuned in here were around when that. It's one of those moments that you definitely don't forget what you were doing or where you were at back in 2011. I know that we were riding home, I think from Coeur d'Alene or something, and all of a sudden on the radio, every radio broadcast was talking about IndyCar. And it's like, what's going on? And they mentioned, the passing of Dan Weldon in Las Vegas, and it was like, holy cow. That was Danica's last full-time season. That was technically her last career start, but I think she did come back like a decade later to try and attempt the Indianapolis 500 at least one more time. I think she might have did after she retired back from NASCAR again, but no, it's crazy. And so what happened after that was the ride that Dan Weldon was supposed to take over, the 27 with Andretti, turned into James Hinchcliffe. And it was weird because it still was sponsored by GoDaddy, which was Danica's. She just left the team, and she was driving, I think, the number 7 for Andretti at that time. And so, yeah, it's kind of weird. James Hinchcliffe got his start, kind of like a Kevin Harvick situation there. After the passing of Dale Sr., he got his ride, the number 3 car turning into the 29. That was James Hinchcliffe with Andretti back in 2011. Most of you might have seen that too, the announcement for the new IR28 IndyCar, the new chassis. It's gonna be interesting to see what that creates going forward for the future of IndyCar. I've seen a lot of memes, people joking about it. Looks identical to the F1 announcement. So we'll see. Who knows what it's going to be like. I'm just hoping it keeps the Indianapolis 500 as good as it's been. It's been hard to pass. Usually, it's funny. Everyone complains about NASCAR not being able to pass at Indianapolis. Well, the Indy cars can't pass at Indianapolis either. It's so much air, dirty air. It's the same thing with IndyCar. It just so happened when they developed the aero screen in IndyCar, that's when dirty air became even more of a nuisance. And so I don't know if they'll ever be able to figure out a way to combat that dirty air now that they have a full cockpit face protection aero shield like they do. And if they go back to without it, obviously it'd be much more dangerous. There's been so many wrecks there in Indianapolis just in the last 20 years. It's like, man, it's crazy that they were able to walk away from that, But it is neat that they're going to be taking a step forward. They basically Dan Weldon was the successor for the big model changes on IndyCar. This, I think, they might have announced is the biggest step away from what has been the Dan Weldon, the DW12 chassis, as it's been known. It has evolved a couple times. It hasn't been known as the DW12, but I feel like the IR28 is the biggest step away from what we knew as the DW12, basically. Pit stops happening here at lap 262 as we have 60 laps left to go here in the 777 annual. And the window, kind of about 58 laps here at Vegas, so they're getting right about where they need to be to make it on one stop here tonight. But of course, green flag pit stops always set you up for some trouble. 77 must have missed the pits as he slows way up here. What in the world happened there with the 77? Oh, yeah. Just gets cut off by the 30. Just the worst place to be there, and has to let way up off the throttle. So your race leader, Finley Herwig, makes his pit stop here. New race leader is the 55 of Luis Rodriguez. We'll see when he decides to make his pit stop here. This is putting us into the danger territory for another late race pit stop. 39 gets cut off there. Man, there is a lot of bad pit calls as they cut right across the fast traffic to pull down pit road. Second place, that looks like it'll shuffle back around to Finley being your race leader here. And if we do get a late race caution, that'll help everyone, because then we'll be able to pit one more time and really top it all off. Typical Vegas races, usually we have at least another caution towards the end. Very rarely does it go green all the way to the finish past halfway. We have seen a caution past halfway, but it's been a lot more reserved since we got the second half of the race here, so it's not as chaotic as it was from the beginning. And we still have 13 cars on the lead lap, followed by 23 cars still running. Monty Shangle 7 laps down and 23rd, the last car running in the race. So half the field wiped out. Out of 44 cars, we had 23 of them survive so far. So half the field surviving, thriving, trying to get to the finish. Staying green here so far. It's Finley Herwig is your race leader. Followed in second. Points leader Tadenberger and trying to make a big bounce back to get as many points up front as he can. Third place belongs to Tom Cording. Fourth place is Tyler Aspinall. Campbell Marsh in fifth, matching the car number 5 there. Luis Rodriguez in sixth. Lynn Farrell in seventh. Eighth place, Louis Trost. Cannon Gage running a solid 9th. 10th place going to Kara Shangle. 11th is Jacob Shangle. And last car on the lead lap, it looks like Chaz Chadwick in 12th. And Sebastian Torres about to go lap down in 13th. I'm amazed with the damage on that 64 that he's been able to survive and actually have some speed out of that 64 machine. It looks like it's been through a demolition derby. But the Genesis cars seem to be running strong here, especially when you have someone like Finley Herwig running up front, leading all these laps. So, fair warning to everyone watching. I did score up the points on the website, so please, for your spoiler alert sake, do not look at the web page right away right now, as we have still about 50 laps left to go, because it is updated. I did it while I was away and on leave, and I'm still on leave, but right when the race happened, I had to know how the points would look, and so I scored them. So steer clear of the website. Do not go to the website until the race is over. But obviously, once the race is over, everyone can go check it out and see where the points shook up, as we do have the point standings tallied for the 777 annual. Going forward, like I mentioned, a couple drivers disappeared from the grid. And so some new faces moving around. We'll have a new full-time charter driver in the 70, or not, he doesn't drive the 70 now. He's going to be in the 64 of Ryan White, where he's typically been in the 70. Yeah, heck yeah. We had at the peak 12 people so far, so it has been, this is record numbers for a Cup broadcast. It's pretty awesome. Everyone that's tuned in tonight, thank you. It's beyond awesome. Finley continues to lead here. We've had 4 cautions so far here tonight. Will we be able to run this thing to the checker without another big caution, or will we see one more to shake things up? Those that have been involved in the wrecks here tonight definitely have had some hard hits. Everyone's pretty much clear of any injuries, but it's been a rough night for sure. Yeah, Finley setting a 27.2, but now what's going on here? Why does it show him in second? Oh, because Shy Turtle is fighting for the race win here. I thought he was a lap down, but he is not, in fact. So Shy Turtle gets around him. What the heck? That was weird. I could have swore he was not. I think we accidentally gave him a +1 lap. We must have been giving laps wave around to people, and instead of getting his lap back, he gets the lead. So it's kind of weird. I think There must have been a reason I was doing that, but Finley temporarily losing the lead here out of unexpected circumstances as Shy Turtle now gets a lap back, maybe a black flag cleared that's credited, but we got a wreck happening, caution out. What is our caution for? I apologize. That is a weird officiating mistake. Shy Turtle gets back on the lead lap, but gets a lead with it. Only leads about 3 or 4 laps. And we get a weird random debris caution. Huh. Well, 777's got its way of doing some weird things. And tonight, as we're watching it back on replay, kind of hard to explain that one. Kind of fishy. But anyways, back under caution here tonight for the 5th time. And we'll get back to green here at lap 281, starting on the front row. It's going to be Shy Turtle alongside Finley Herwig on the outside. Outside line's always awesome, no matter where you start, it seems like. But here we go, lap 281 of 322. A late race restart to possibly get this race finished. Finley with a great jump here. Gets ahead of the 33, back to the race lead where he belongs. And just about everyone back on the lead lap here. It looks like 22 cars on the lead lap. Not Greg Biffle, Monty Shangle in the 16, the Greg Biffle tribute car. Last car on the racetrack in 23rd, 8 laps down. So Finley Herwig leads with Shy Turtle in 2nd. 3rd place it is Cooper Dwight, and 4th place it is Luis Rodriguez. Louis Trost and Tom Cording, Tyler Aspinall and Lynn Farrell, Tasha Wright, Kara Shangle, and the 8 of Cannon Gage. Battling back for the race lead here. Shy Turtle goes low on the 68. Side by side, here we go, rolling around the front stretch. Finley leads that lap. And that's why this race is so prestigious, because you never know what kind of curveball is going to get thrown at you. For Finley, when it all happened and the caution fell, it was kind of weird, but at the same time, he's still going to have to fight back and earn this one here tonight. It ain't no walk in the park. 777 annual has to be earned, has to be fought for. And here he is fighting tooth and nail against the Canadian in Shy Turtle. Running in 2nd. Luis Rodriguez in 3rd. Cooper Dwight and Tom Cording, Louis Trost, and Kara Shangle now up into the top 10. Look at that group in the background. A lot of 2 wide. Some big names still in the background that could move through the field here. But this battle up front's what it's all about. Look at the 33 still trying to play cat and mouse with the 68 of Finley, who continues to stay up front and lead the laps. Cording Brothers Motorsports running 3rd, 4th, and in the mix further back as well. So a conclusion that has been 3 weeks in the making. Here we have it, what is likely the last run to the checkered. Everyone has enough fuel in the tank. They've got fresh tires. They've got everything to make this work. Finley's been good up front, leading the race here tonight. Could he potentially earn his first ever 777 annual win? He's only got 1 cup win to his name, and that came earlier this year at the 8 Ball Annual, the 8 Ball International Superspeedway. Shy Turtle still seeking race win number 1. Luis Rodriguez trying to get some more in his resume. .6 was last lap for Finley, but that was dealing with a little bit of side-by-side traffic. Shy Turtle under attack here by Luis Rodriguez. Tom Cording and Cooper Dwight also in the mix. A lot of drivers here in the top 5 that have led laps here tonight. Louis Trost, Tyler Aspinall, Campbell Marsh, Preston Kundo, Kara Shangle, Jacob Shangle, and Cannon Gage. Those are your top 15 basically. Kara's trying to fight as hard as she can, but damage on that 51 really has kind of kept it slower than where she would like it to be. There goes the 60 on the move on the inside there. He wants to get up into the top 10. 77 to Preston Kundo, starting to reel in the lead group here. We're down to 32 laps to go, so it's really down to the wire now to get this race in the books. Finley still up front leading. And at a track like this, really, it's important to have track position. And on the restart here, everyone's kind of got strung out. Your top 3 are starting to build up kind of an advantage here. The only thing that really could be a game changer is if someone had some extra tire saving that put them in their own lap category here at the end of the race. And would you believe it or not, the lap times are exceedingly different here. Jacob Shangle in 10th right now. His last lap time was a 27.4. Just ahead of him, 27.6, 27.9, 27.8, 7, 7, 7, 6, 7, 27.7 for your race leader. So keep your eyes peeled there. That could be interesting. He's faster than every car ahead of him. The 10th car in line running faster than even your race leader right now. He's going to pick up 9th place. He's already about 0.3 faster than Finlay Herwig up front. Lap 294 of 322. But I think this is kind of maybe what, they've made their bed. Maybe some of the drivers decide to take 2 tires, try and keep track position. They knew that last caution kind of set them up for a short sprint to the finish line. So strategies did kind of unfold here, and I think they were figuring they just had to stay up front for a short 30 lap burst and hopefully had enough in the tank. For Finley, he's doing all he can. He's got a big advantage over the fastest car on track, but he's still having to defend against Luis Rodriguez, Shy Turtle, Tom Cording. They're all right there knocking on the door. But nonetheless, it has been a storybook 777 annual. A little bit of everything. A little bit of carnage, a little bit of chaos, some parity, a lot of different faces at the front of the field trying to establish their dominance in the ballpark of a crown jewel race. Las Vegas, one of those tracks everyone wants to have their name on the trophy. And we are now down to 25 laps left to go here in the 777 annual, the Rowdy Memorial 777 annual, 17th running. Finley looking to lock down, led most laps here tonight as he's been up front these last 2 restarts pretty dominantly. Lap times as we skim here, 27.9 for Finley, 27.8 for Shy Turtle, 28 seconds for Tom Cording. Cooper Dwight, 28.1. Campbell Marsh, 27.9. And look who's making his move up into 7th place. Jacob Shangle on the attack. Getting around Luis Rodriguez here. Side by side now up to 6th, actually. Gets around 8th and 7th place. Look out, field. He has got some Superman Hoosiers on that 60 machine, trying to climb through the field. Shy Turtle back on the attack here as Finley still leads. He's going to have to defend on the Canadian once again. The international stranglehold continues here at the front of the field between Britain and Canada. Crazy to think, 777 kilometers of racing, and all we have left is 21 laps to go here from Las Vegas. 21 blackjack, that's, you know, number synonymous with Las Vegas, just like the 777. 7s, 21s. You know, if you are going to hit it rich here in Las Vegas, they're going to see numbers accustomed to those in very particular matters. Here we go, the 33. Trying to make it red 33 to the front of the field. The 68 defends and holds on, but that's only going to allow the rest of the accordion effect to close everyone else in on the lead here. The more these two leaders fight, the more it's going to allow for disturbance in the draft and allow those that are faster to move through the field. As you can see, Jacob trying to kind of hunt the lines here, figuring out where to go. He's got the faster car, but right now kind of in a stranglehold, trying to get around the 5, the 41, and the 30. It's a bit of a log jam. Even then, the 55 is going to get back around. That is KBM trying to work their way into a better finishing position. So they've got the 30 of Tom Cording and the 55 now of Luis Rodriguez sneaking into the picture here. Steele Cadillac Racing is the other Cadillac team out here. Calvin Steele's namesake carries on with that 33 machine. And that might be a highly coveted seat for next year. We will see who lands the ride of the 33 Cadillac for Steele Cadillac Racing. Finley has dropped all the way down to the 28s as well. So lap times are getting away from your leaders as the very tough and coarse conditions of Las Vegas Motorspeedway are eating away at these tires. Not very many laps left to go though. All he has to do is defend right at the end to hold on for one of the biggest wins in Sigma racing. And Finley's doing a great job trying to defend, and he's done just that all night long. Late race caution kind of shook things up here, and he's had to kind of step back into the defense role after he was dominating on that last restart. Quite the combination of cars up front, a lot of Cadillac and a lot of Genesis. Genesis, Cadillac, Cadillac, Genesis. You have a Dodge, the Dodge Charger there of Campbell Marsh. Then you have another Cadillac running in 6th and a Ford in 7th. Honda, Dodge, and Chevy rounding out your top 10. For Chevy, that is the highest running Chevy right now in 10th. Other than that, you got Cadillacs pretty much owning the top 5. Battle for the race lead. Shy Turtle gets on the inside here. Finley's going to bounce back and defend for the race lead. Leads yet another lap. But Shy not going away. The part-timer in the 33 machine is going to make this race a little bit harder to achieve for the 68 team. Side by side, 2 by 2 by 2, they roll your top 6. And the laps really are clicking away here. Finley not giving up. He's going to fight back still and lead another lap here at Las Vegas. But look at that. It has tightened up the entire front of the field. All 8 cars in the top 8. You can throw a blanket over them. Luis Rodriguez goes to the high side. Campbell Marsh falls in line there. And the 77 of Preston Kundal also sneaking into the picture. And then how about the 60 of Jacob Shangle? Now up into the top 5 for the first time in quite some time. He's had to bounce back, fell back on pit stops there, was running second when Finley was walking away with it, but now back in the picture with 12 laps to go, that 60 machine. The fastest car on track each and every lap. What can he make of it? Freshly in fatherhood, has not slowed down that 60 car at all. He's right there in the mix, up in the top 5, and now Shy Turtle takes over the race lead with 11 laps to go. Jacobs getting the move on for third. Finley's right there in second still, not letting this one get away from him yet. But it's 2 by 2 all the way back from third all the way to the tail end of that lead draft. Getting pretty wild here at Las Vegas with only 10 laps remaining. Jacobs got the fastest car. We know that. 68 had the lead, has led the laps, but it's fallen apart here at the end of the night. That's why we run the endurance length races, because you never know what's going to unfold. Here we go. Jacobs going for second. Shy Turtle's got the lead. 68's going to defend, though. Finley's definitely got a different line that he runs here, and it's worked all night. But when the tires have gotten this far away from you, it's just it's kind of a losing battle at the moment. And he's going to fall back to third as Jacob Shangle in the 60. Oh, slide over maneuver here. The 68's not going to let him get away with that. Passes him back. But now Jacob on the high side. We've seen Finley make that high side work. Slides down in front of him. Gets back up to second. Man, we are down to 8 laps left to go. As mentioned before, only one driver's won from the pole here. That was Tyler Shangle back in 2012. Only one driver that's won here twice in the 777 annual. That was also Tyler Shangle. And the storybook, you know, obviously Jacob finally took back over the winningest driver in Sigma Cup history title recently from his brother Tyler. And how would that be if he was able to actually match his brother with the statistic in the Crown Jewel event of the 777 annual? Here he is in second, trying to chase down the 33 of Shy Turtle. This time around, it's going to be 6 laps left to go. Finley not letting this one get away from him, though. He's still right there in the hunt. Points leader, Taden Berggren, has picked them off one by one, and here he is with the top 5 run in that 43 machine. Shy Turtle doing a masterful job defending and holding the lead right now. Kind of makes you think that the 60's just kind of waiting it out here, trying to figure out the right opportunity. And the longer he waits, the harder it's going to get, because 68's going to fight back on the inside here. 5 laps left to go here from Vegas. And of course, the Rowdy Memorial 777 annual. How awesome would that be to have a Kyle Busch tribute win the race in Las Vegas? 60 has Rowdy Energy on the side there, has the Greg Biffle Foundation on the hood, and of course, in loving memory of Grandpa Roman on the side, a field airman in the he was a mechanic for the military, and so we're honoring him as well on the car. This time by 3 laps to go. Shy Turtle has the lead. Jacob wants it. Finley wants it. Taden wants it. Preston wants it. They're all right there in the top 5. And not letting fatherhood slow him down. Jacob's going for the race lead with 2 laps left to go here in Las Vegas. He's going to get the lead from Shy Turtle. And at that point, the fastest car on track has now taken over the race lead. It's going to be hard to get back by him unless lap traffic ahead can spoil it. Of course, it's his dad in the 16 of Monty Shangle I don't see that being much of a problem, but you never know as they're going to come around lap 321 here. New race leader for the first time here tonight, Jacob Schenkel up at the top. Oh, Monty pulls off respectfully, so he just gets off the racetrack to let his son go through and try to collect his second win here in Las Vegas. But now, the second fastest car on the track, and fastest this last lap, actually by a couple thousandths, Tayden Berggren reeling in Jacob. They'll see the white flag this time by. He's going to have to defend against Tayden Berggren, the points leader and winner multiple times this season already. Kind of on a Al Bunch-esque level here in 2026. How crazy would the comparisons be there? Liz Schenkel beat Al Bunch back in 2024 on a season that he was winning everything. Could Jacob Schenkel do the same against Tayden Berggren, who has been on fire, winning everything this year? And it seems so. Checkered flag in hand, coming around for his 38th career win. Jacob Schenkel gets the job done here tonight in Las Vegas. 38th or 39th, actually. I might be off one there. Ever closer to 40 for sure, no matter what. But back to victory lane at Las Vegas. Second time in his career. And after becoming a father, it's a pretty cool deal to get the second 777 annual win to his name. For everyone else, obviously it's going to be another year before we see this race again. Everyone's going to be wanting to get the win here, and it just didn't happen for the rest of the field here tonight. Jacob Schenkel gets it done and only continues the Schenkel dominance here in Las Vegas. But that's a wrap, folks. 5 cautions here tonight. 777 annual, the 17th running. Kyle Busch Rowdy Memorial here was definitely one for the record books. So we look forward to the next race on the calendar at Ricky Raceway. This one definitely, it was an impressive one. And I don't have a way to show the results sheet quite, but we can kind of go through that on the right-hand side there. Jacob Schenkel beats the 43 of Tayden Berggren, Preston Kundo, Shy Turtle, and Cooper Dwight. After leading the most laps here tonight, Finlay Herwig brings it home 6th, Tom Cording 7th, Tyler Aspinall bringing it home 8th, Luis Rodriguez 9th, and Tasha Wright in 10th. So KBM, solid. 3 of their drivers in the top 10. Bringing it home in 11th was Kara Schenkel. 12th place was Campbell Marsh. 13th was the number 8 of Cannon Gage. Top 15 run for him. 69 of Lynn Farrell. The 29 of Lewis Trost. Followed by the 28 of Jimmy Logano. The 18 of Chaz Chadwick. 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson. 24 of Snake Plissken. The 64 Sebastian Torres in his last career start here. Followed by the 88 of John Hagan. The 78 of Bradley Ream. And the last car running, the 16 of Monty Schenkel, bringing it home 23rd. So that's a wrap, folks. I appreciate everyone tuning in here tonight for the re-airing of the 777 annual. It was a fun race to cover. After missing 3 weeks of broadcasting, it was kind of like a new race to me anyways. But I kind of knew the winner, which made it a little harder, but definitely enjoyable to get another win. First race after parenthood and get another win for the 60 team this season. So hopefully I'll have a great night, have a great weekend, as that's right around Friday now and Saturday, Sunday. NASCAR, no races this week, so who knows? Maybe we'll figure something out Sunday too. Who knows? But otherwise, thanks again for tuning in, folks. You showed up, showed out, and the 777 annual is now officially in the books on YouTube. Go ahead and check out the point standings too if you want. They're updated. Shows the Las Vegas race now in the books and see where you shook out in points. But otherwise, have a great night. Everyone stay safe out there. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.